Right on.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Master Series. Welcome to all the Masters. We decided to take the initiative and try to gather some South African vets together, well, including sub-vets, so 30 and older, to do this race, this SHR Masters Europe race this evening. 4 loops of the Heli route reverse. Fun. Not that challenging. It's got one steep climb in it. But other than that, it's quite undulating, so there's really no let-up. And that little climb is going to cause 4 nice separations. Here we go. I'm not riding, only broadcasting this evening. Feeling a little under the weather. Maybe next time I'll join. Yo. Excellent turnout. Where am I going to find our guys? Here we go. Here's one. There's no let-up here. Enes Lemega from Hermanus. His Hermanus cycling team, part of our South African Vet series. Rory Button, also part of our series. So while I'm playing around and things are starting up, let me tell you a bit about the series. We have 8 races in a point system, whereas your position from 1st to 10th amongst the South African vets entered for the series and participating in the race will give you points at each and every race. So first place gets 10, 10th place gets 1. You can figure out the rest in between. Your best 6 races count, which means if you are forced to miss a race, or you have some sort of a Zwift or virtual internet mechanical, or just a bad race, at least that race doesn't count. And your 6 best results will ultimately score you. And that's for the individual competition to determine our outright winners. Quite nice. Got some nice prizes for that competition. Everyone's certainly incentivized. In addition, we have spot prizes for the best rider at every single night. Smaller in value, but still very nice. And on top of that, we've got a team competition. Team competition runs concurrently to the individual competition. It is quite simple, quite similar to how they do it in the Tour de France, in that all riders are riding both individually and for their teams. There's no distinction between the two. And the third rider over the line's time essentially becomes the team. So, no. So say the first 3 riders' aggregate times get added to your aggregate for every evening, every race we do. And the only difference between this and the team and this individual competition ultimately is that all 8 races count. So your team needs to have at least 3 participants at each and every race to keep scoring in the team competition. And ultimately, the team with the lowest aggregate across all 8 races will take the honors. And we've got a nice price for that as well. So that's quite nice in incentivizing everyone to keep going. I mean, even if you've fallen off the front and think you can't really contest for the podium in the series any longer, you can contest for individual honors at each and every stage, similar to any stage race, I guess. and B, you can contribute to your team and help your team ride a decent time. So there's always some incentive to be here and to complete the series. Now, this is an invitation-only series, given the sensitivities around all them optimistic weight settings and even dodgy trainer calibrations. I mean, I'm not saying there's any truth in this, I'm just saying the accusations are flying around. This is all based on trust, so only people that we knew and trusted were invited, or only people that those guys could vouch for. And ultimately that's how we determined who would be part of the competition. And Prentice, one of our 40 plus vets. So here's a bit of fun for you. We have got A, B, C, and D categories. Everyone is starting together. Unlike all other races in Swift, this is not based, or most other races, excuse me. This is not based on your watt per kilogram average. This is age category racing. So all A's are aged 30 to 39. B's are aged 40 to 49. C's are aged 50 to 59. And D's are older than that. Although I don't think there will be a lot of them. I see a few, but I don't think we have any South Africans in that particular category. And how you can mark your competition is the shirts. As you can see, all the B's are wearing these bright green shirts, the A's are wearing these red shirts, and the C's are wearing blue Swift shirts. Aaron, one of our ACAT vets. Chris Cronier of the Hartlief team. Zain Kajasul. Mark Elliott. MC Dreyer. Okay. Got a few of us South African vets up here at the pointy end of the field. So that's quite nice. Peter Avenant. Okay, so this is the front of the field. In addition to promoting credibility through the vouching system, call it, we have asked everyone to provide a weigh-in video. Well, this is strictly confidential for my eyes only. I'm the only one that saw them. And essentially in this video, we want you to demonstrate the date that it was taken on by showing us a newspaper or even a current article on the internet. B, you perform your weigh-in, and while showing that it's you, showing us your face, demonstrating that it's you, you're not holding on to anything. And C, we want to see your trainer. Unfortunately, given the variation that's been recorded, Z-Power riders are not allowed. All of our riders need to either ideally be on a proper smart trainer that's calibrated, or less ideal, but still perfectly acceptable, a dumb trainer with a proper power meter mounted to it as the broadcasting device for your power, which ultimately determines how quickly you will be going in Zwift. Now, that dumb trainer solution is unfair, but not towards the rest of the field. It's unfair towards you, the rider, because even though you'll be able to put down pretty good consistent power on a climb, you will be at an extreme disadvantage on a sprint. There's no way you'll ever be able to get that resistance from your trainer that an erg mode smart trainer is going to give you. So if it does come down to a sprint, even just a sprint for the top of a hill or sprint for the finish, you won't really be able to contest. Unlikely. I've seen guys try to pull their brakes to to get that wheel on trainer to give them more resistance with the power meter, but it doesn't really work. We've already gone over this hill once. Pace is quite furious. David Garrett of Team Hartleaf. This was all his idea. You can blame him. All of your suffering. There we go, Zaza. One of the original beta testers in Zwift. He rode on Jarvis Island, which predated Watopia. He's the only beta tester I'm aware of. I should actually ask him if there were more South African beta testers. So he's a Zwift expert. And a strong cyclist. Next time I'll use my companion app to jump between riders, because it seems that well, they are going fast. Lots of PRs there. Christian Janssen van Rensburg. Man had some trouble with his trainer. I hope he has managed to sort them out. When Christian and I go for a ride, he's usually averaging around 105 BPM heart rate. For him to be at this kind of rate, it means the pace is quite fierce. John Henderson, also one of our vets. Most of the South Africans in this group are vets. Ignis Oosthuizen of Team Hartleef. This is almost like a hilly crit, this route. It's darn tough. Guys are trying to shake as many riders as possible off this group. It's already shrunk a lot. Wow. It's really shedding. Okay, so in terms of results verification, we are using Zwift Power, which is an independent API service that is sort of partnered up with Zwift and become the, call it, official, semi-official, more scientific result verification service. All our riders need to be opted in to that to have their results qualify. Otherwise, the best they're going to be doing is assisting their teammates, because there's no results without it being posted on Zwift Power. Well, the nice thing about Zwift Power is it will also identify and filter out shenanigans. And so the things unrealistic weight settings, which it'll either pick up from your previous weights or allow us to pick up through the results, because it's all in the public domain once the results are done. And we get to verify those weights against the videos that were sent to us. Still deciding how we're going to handle that going forward, because weights do change. Maybe halfway through the season we'll ask people to do them again. But I'm certain if guys do lose weight, they will happily voluntarily submit videos so they're able to ride at a lower weight setting in Zwift. We're going to be quite strict on that, because that's sort of the easiest and most prevalent way for people to punch above their weight in a Zwift race. And then beyond that, Zwift Power will also take into consideration unrealistic performances in terms of 5 and 20 minute average power. If you are meant to be a World Tour Pro because you are so very, very talented, Zwift is meant to have certified you as such. You might have seen some of the videos on YouTube of pros riding Zwift for the first time and being kicked off for having an unrealistic result. Ignis leading the race in a solo breakaway. Let's see. Not getting a gap. Okay. Just putting some pressure on the field then, rather. So in any case, Zwift Power verifies that your performance is realistic. And if you are a remarkable athlete, which, to be frank, shouldn't really be present in this field, because all of the cyclists we invited are amateurs, not professionals. So essentially, that filter would apply to us as well. We don't need to be certified as professional. I believe Ashley Moolman Passio, on her first Zwift ride, was disqualified for having an unrealistic 20-minute climbing effort. She wasn't a proper trainer as well. Here we go. Second climb of the Zwift KOM. Like I said, this is where we expect things to happen. Field to separate. Likely to see guys going to the front and really put pressure on the rest of the field to try to thin out this group. Zwift, it's very difficult to chase on if you're riding with a real trainer. The drafting benefit is very, very, I would almost say it's a bit exaggerated in Zwift. Everyone's always getting maximum draft because there's no crashing. You get the benefit of the doubt as if you're taking the wheel in front of you with the tightest of tucks. which wouldn't always be the case. You know, the field's more likely to get strung out in real life, depending on the terrain and corners and such, which doesn't really happen here. So the drafting effect is colossal. So the number one rule is do not get dropped. Stay towards the front third of your group. Make sure you don't get dropped. Don't have the energy, don't put your nose in the wind, because again, the drafting benefit is massive. But don't hang at the back. You just hear those wheels spin up as the efforts go crazy. Anyone? Oof, this helicopter's a bit far away. No, it doesn't look. Looks like they've more or less stayed together this round. Haven't dropped as many as they did before. You can see on the profile there's a fairly big chase group. They are unlikely to get back on. This here is very, very hard. This guy getting caught or being lapped? Standing still, I'm guessing he's lapped. Glad I'm not racing. Embarrassing. Okay, we threw the KOM. Go to the front, see who the heroes are. Martin Helleman, Jens van der Bank. Quite a lot of our vets are from Joburg, which sits at around between 1600 and 1700 meters above sea level. Now they will claim they are at a distinct disadvantage relative to those of us sitting at sea level in Cape Town. But we'll see how they hold up. Quite a few of them are in this group, holding their own just fine. Pieter Averant and his Heartbreakers or Heartbreakers team. I'm assuming that refers to the Hartlief team, their opponents. just about settling down to a panic now. We are on board with Christian. Let me tighten up my interface a bit here. Here we go. Sure, our sponsors don't mind. Bring us a bit more screen to watch the race. A's and the B's all over this thing. I spot a couple of C's and D's. Are over 50 and over 60-year-olds. Maybe they are clever enough to stay away from the front. Just remain tucked away in this group. Well, ZHR, I believe, and that's part of the reason we chose their race. So, in our experience, they're a lot more civilized. There's a lot more verification of results going on, and a lot more policing. Unrealistic performances get kicked out right away. It doesn't just wait for afterwards with Zwift Power verification. It happens in game already. And they'll police silly things like strong language as well. So I've heard, never seen. I think this is Brad Fleming riding in HFS, one of the Joburg team. Maybe we can have a nice Joburg versus Cape Town competition as the series progresses. Kent is always at the pointy end of the field. So is David. Okay, we're approaching the third climb of this KOM. Surely now. Surely now. Fuel will start thinning again. There we go. Somebody's popped. Just about see some guy slipping out the back. The climb from this side isn't that steep. But the powers these boys are going, this is very, very difficult. David's doing with that 470, 510. He's at the pointy end, but putting on the pressure, I guess. Lapping more riders. Very good. Vets do love their Tron bikes. Okay, we are cresting the steeper bit of the climb. Now settles into a false flat. You're still climbing at an average incline of just over 1. A break here and there. See the field sitting up a little bit. There's still pressure here. Lapping a big group now. Zozo hits the front and then sits up. I'll ask him if he's okay with me using his real name. Grant. He sent me. Yeah. I wonder what it was about. Didn't listen to it before the broadcast started. Okay, on the descent. Okay, these vets are setting up for a hard final climb. This is the undulating bit of the course, just to soften the legs a little before we hit that big climb for the last time. I see there's a power outage in the east of Pretoria, which has affected some of our contestants. That is unfortunate. I guess you can get technicals in real life as well as in Zwift. Sprint's not really being contested today. For this group, at least, it's all about the win. That I can assure you. While we're waiting for them to hit the climb, which will be the decider, I believe. I've pulled up the route for you quickly. The route in their profile. Let's have a quick look here. So, we are doing 4 laps of the Hilly Route Reverse. It's an event-only route. And more importantly, this is what it looks like. Just going to exaggerate the elevation so we can understand what we're looking at. So as you can see, it's a lap of approximately 9 kilometers, which we're doing 4 times. So even after this massive climb, which is coming up, sort of the big decider, there's still a fat descent, and the finish will be at the bottom of that. You wait with bated breaths. Back to the competition. Christian in his French cap on a Tron bike. 'Cause why not? See, the Hutcliffe team is definitely positioning well. They've got 3 or more guys in this front group, so they should run a very good aggregate time this evening. Same thing for HFS. Lots of those. A couple of Zwift smashes as well. And a couple of Hartebrekers. Team competition might be incredibly tight, in fact. Fortunately, the individual competition doesn't rely on times, it relies on positioning. So there we will have a decisive result. There will be no need for countback. While I've been busy with other things, this incredibly fast group has crested this climb already. And whittled the pack right down. Oof. Okay, James Tennant, Jens van der Bank, Mark Elliott. Oh, guys are looking good. Zaza, David Garrett, Monsieur Dreyer. Well done, boys. Okay. I venture that close to a majority of the front group are South African veterans. Certainly the most represented nationality. Ignis also still here. This was Martin Hillerman. Oof. Ladies. I can't remember this one's name. My apology. I have the roster open in front of me. I only have 2 screens. Okay, we're on the descent. And despite the best efforts, this is going to be a sprint finish in this bunch. Oh, okay. Gotta decide on a camera angle. The helicopter is not doing its job today. Okay, come on. Who's in the lead? Come on, Mark, give us a sprint. Intra-athlete sprint. David, I can see, is going. Ooh, we've got some hard efforts here. Look at those numbers. 10, 12, 14 watts a kilogram. Oh, this is hard. Okay. Simpleman, I don't think he's with us. I didn't get. Okay, that was a photo finish. Definitely a lot of our vets in the mix there. David, Tian, Souza, Christian, Mark. Well done, gents. It was too tight to call, unfortunately. One of the quirks of live streaming this without being in the front group with them, which would have been tough to speak. Never mind do, in the first place, beyond my abilities. Yeah. The quirk is I can't see the results as soon as they are done. Okay. I'm just gonna call it then. Stay tuned for official results. We will post it on the WhatsApp group and on social media. A bit of a brouhaha. Thank you very much to all the veterans that showed up for the inaugural race in the South African series. We wish you all the best of luck for the rest of the series. Big thank you to our sponsors,